Ford High School Weekly is brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deion Imade. Well, more football this week, guys, and you know what? We got to interview one of the best running backs in the state. River Faulkner from Heritage Hall is here with us. River, how's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. How's the preparation for the upcoming game going?
It's good. I think we're a lot more locked in for this game than we have been in a long time.
Nice. That's what we love to hear here at Ford High School Weekly. But before we go ahead and talk about the preparation and game time and football, let's go ahead and talk to you about your personal life a little bit. You cool with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So one of the things that I really like to ask is for you as a student. I mean, they say student athlete, so students come first. I know it definitely does over there at Heritage Hall. What is your favorite subject?
History, for sure. I take 2 history classes.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just one of those things that I enjoy my teachers and I enjoy just the class in general. Our president of the school is my history teacher, so I get to spend a lot of time with him.
Go ahead and shout him out, man, so you can get a couple good grades on the next test.
Yeah, shout out Mr. Fetro.
I love it. All right, so what about history is kind of interesting to you personally? I mean, is it something that just comes easy to you, or you just like the subject and learning about things in the past?
I think it just comes easy. It's something I enjoy learning. It's not like math where I struggle a lot. So
I feel you, man. I feel you. All right, so other than that, I mean, what do you like to do for fun?
I play COD with the boys and some games like Overwatch, but when in my free time, I don't have much now with football, but off season, that's my go-to.
So you're a gamer, or are you just something that you do with the guys?
I'm for sure a gamer, for sure.
So you got the headphones, you're talking on the mic, you're doing it all, huh?
Yeah.
So how long has that been something that's been a part of your life?
Since growing up. I mean, my brother is a huge gamer, and I actually did esports last year. It's a sport technically at Heritage Hall, so I participated in that. I got runner-up for state in Madden, so that was fun. Really?
Whoa, hold on, time out, man. You're talking to the older generation right now, so I don't know much about this esports stuff, but I know a bunch of NFL and basketball players are buying esport teams and stuff and being owners on that aspect. So what was it like, participating in esports?
So there's a bunch of people. You'd be surprised how many people actually do esports. And the way it would work is you log into a game, you play another guy, and it's just you got your conference and you got playoffs and all that. And I have a coach, Mr. Steelman. Shout out, Mr. Steelman. It's a great time. You just play games and have fun, compete.
So what's the difference between, being on an esports team and then being on the football team? Is it the practice similar, after school and everything, or is the game similar? Do y'all wear jerseys and all that? What's the whole correlation?
Our esports, we actually had jerseys. It was pretty baller. The practices aren't too similar, but the preparation's there, and it's a sport for sure.
All right, so I know you just said you got runner-up in Madden. So how does the Madden preparation kind of help you with the football preparation?
Well, Madden's just simple football IQ. It's a game where you got to know what's going on. You got to know plays. You got to know how to run coverages. So it's surprisingly a lot of football IQ that goes into it, because it's not a skill-based game. It's more you're the coach and you're controlling your players out there. So has a lot to do with football more than people think.
So with that being the case, does the jerseys have numbers on the back football and everything too? So what number were you on the esports team?
Oh, I got number 1 taken, so I was 11 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's fun. I still have my jersey. Need to hang it up.
Do you know how many people around the state y'all compete against?
No, but there's quite a few, because I used to be able to see a bracket of the playoffs, and it was top 2 kids from every school got into playoffs. So there's quite a few.
Yeah, it's the sport's growing and evolving, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back with River Faulkner from Heritage Hall when Ford High School Weekly returns. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with River Faulkner from Heritage Hall. Now, River, so football season is big time underway. You guys are kind of winding down last, couple games, going into the playoffs. But let's go ahead and take it back to the very beginning, man. I got to see your game on senior night over there at Heritage Hall. So tell me about the beginning. Let's take it on back. How did you get started playing football?
Oh, so I feel like I have a very football-oriented family. I'm the younger of two siblings, and my older brother, he played football since I was born. And all I can remember growing up is his team, the Rockets, and they're like 4 years older than me. I always played up football, so I would play with his team and my team. So I got smoked, of course, playing with older kids, but it really prepared me for like football in general. And ever since I can remember, I've had pads on, been hitting, so it's been a lot of fun.
So you're the youngest of three kids?
I have one younger brother who's a seventh grader at Heritage Hall.
Was your dad a coach growing up, and so is that how you got to go practice with the older kids?
Yeah, my dad helped a lot coaching, and there's quite a few pictures of him yelling at me, encouraging me, coaching me, and like I mentioned, I have a younger brother who's in seventh grade. Me and my dad got to coach him last year as a sixth grader, so it's a big family event.
So how was it coaching? I mean, was it more fulfilling or a little similar to actually playing on the field?
It was fun because those sixth graders, my brother's grade, are my guys. Like, I know a lot of them, and so it was a lot of fun to coach them. It brings out the energy in you. Like, it's just like playing. Like, you get amped up, you get nervous for games. Like, those guys got me going. So I had a lot of fun coaching them.
So with that being said, was there anything you took from, coaching for the first time and applied it into your game, or kind of helped you with your football stuff for this season?
I would say, yeah, like a lot of like base formations and just simple, like knowing what teams are going to run out of certain formations. Because even in Little League, you can kind of see the translation into high school ball to where like teams run the same plays, same formations. And when you coach it and you draw it up, it for sure helps you understand the game more.
So with that being said, and your dad kind of being a coach and the one that kind of taught you the game, what's y'all's relationship been like with football being in mind?
He's my number one supporter for sure. He's always there for me, and he gets me hyped, he gets me going, and he wants what's best for me. He just lets me have fun out there at this point because he knows I enjoy it more than anything. So he just enjoys watching and supporting me.
Hey, man, I saw your dad over there watching you play football. He's kind of rocked up, and he looks like he can throw on the pads a little bit himself.
Yeah, yeah. No, you put on the pads, and he joins the drills for sure.
I bet he does. So with your senior year kind of winding down and going towards the playoff, what is some of the moments at Heritage Hall that you truly remember and cherish?
Oh, God, there's just so many. My favorite memory, I talked about this the other day, was my freshman year. My older brother was a senior, which his senior year he didn't play football. So I knew a bunch of the senior guys because those are the guys I actually played with in Little League. So I, as a freshman, didn't play much, and I scored on this punt return when we blocked it. And freshman me, of course, goes to the sideline, goes to the student section, and starts getting hyped with all of my brother and the seniors. And that was one of my favorite moments for sure. And playing with like Gavin and all of them, like, God, I can just remember us having a ball. Like, that's one of the closest teams I've ever been on. And just the memories I have with all these guys are something I'll never forget.
Man, I imagine you guys, going to Heritage Hall are familiar with each other from such a young age. What is that bond like to play with those individuals that you've grown up with?
It's crazy. Like, the guys I've been playing with right now, like, I've been playing with for a long time. Like, I can look to the right of me in the box with Cooper, and I've been playing with him since seventh grade. So it's like the chemistry is crazy. Like, each other in and out. So the brotherhood's definitely there, and it makes you guys play better.
Speaking of playing better, you've been having a pretty phenomenal season thus far, running the ball, catching the ball, playing a little defense. So what is the difference about this team from some of the teams that you've been on previously?
I would say it's a very different scheme team because when you got Gavin, you just throw Gavin the ball and go let him make plays. And this year we got Andy at quarterback. Andy's fast. He's super athletic, got a great arm. It really opens a lot of things up. So we can run a bunch of like option. We can do whatever we want, honestly. And it's great being a senior and getting to lead them.
So with that being the case, I mean, what's different about your senior year? I mean, is there anything that you want to get accomplished that's something that has been kept away from you in the past or recent years?
Well, playoffs are for sure a thing that I felt like we didn't have the best like chances going in because I was personally hurt. Sophomore year, I was hurt. And this is like my year to really fulfill my playoff dreams and go in fresh and healthy. Another thing is that I never got to do was throw a pass, which I threw absolute dime last game for a touchdown. So I got that one checked off the list. I only got one more thing left, and that's go ball.
Nice, nice. So what is it going to take for your team to kind of reach that goal and get that gold ball?
I just think we gotta stay locked in because this team definitely has a talent. Like it's there, and you can see it when we play. Like this is a championship level team for sure, and there's dogs everywhere I look. So if we can stay healthy and we're gonna be committed, we should be there.
You mentioned that you got hurt, you know, your sophomore, your junior year. How do you stay healthy personally?
This year I kind of went out of my way to, like, I do treatment every day with Mallory. Shout out Mallory. She's my favorite person. She's our athletic trainer. She's goated for everything she does for us. But it's more just like taking that extra time and going in and getting treatment, stretching late nights, and staying ready for the game.
I know your dad's probably on you about that stuff. I know as much as you want that gold ball, he probably wants it too, huh?
Yeah.
So with that being the case, what are some of the individual goals that you have for kind of the end of the season, as far as some numbers or some marks that you want to accomplish?
I used to believe like I need to get like 1,000 yards, I need to get this many touchdowns. But as I've gotten older as a senior, I got one goal in mind. That's a gold ball. Anything that'll get me there, I'll do. So no personal goals now, just one goal in mind, one team win.
Well, man, I truly commend you and Heritage Hall and those Chargers. Y'all are doing some really good things on the football field. So good luck with the rest of the season, and hopefully we see you at that state championship game, man.
Thank you.
Next up, it's nighttime. Michael Nighttime, that is. He's next on Forward High School Weekly. Welcome back to Forward High School Weekly. Michael Knight is here, ladies and gentlemen, like we do every week. Michael Knight from Prep Red Zone. How's it going, my man?
It's going good, man. It's Halloween week. I got 2 kids in the house, so you know my floors are flooded with candy, but I can't complain too much about that.
All right, well, you know we got to ask, man, what'd they dress up as?
Well, my daughter, who is turning 7 later this month, she was Snow White. And her baby brother, who turned 1 a couple months ago, he was Dopey the Dwarf. So the grandparents got a big kick out of that this year.
What's your thoughts on Heritage Hall? We just got a chance to interview River Faulkner. So tell me more about this classification and what we could look forward to during the playoffs.
I love River Faulkner. He's one of the best players in the state. Offense, defense, he has such an impact on this Heritage Hall team. And you just look at the season that he's had. You know, he had to sit out the first couple of games. Now that he's back, he's had an instant impact. And I think I've discussed this with you, how that duo of him and Andy Bass in the backfield for Heritage Hall is so dynamic. With Bass, he's a threat to run the ball as well as throw it. And then you have Faulkner back there at running back. Heritage Hall is playing really good, and stop me if you've heard this before, Heritage Hall is playing their best football right now with the playoffs right around the corner. So they know what it takes to make a run in November. The interesting thing is if they continue to win out and Lincoln does the same, they're going to be on opposite sides of the bracket. They've met in the semifinals for what feels like 3 or 4 consecutive years now. But if they all win out, they wouldn't meet until the championship game. But don't overlook Metro Christian. Their star quarterback, Kirk Francis, he's been outstanding, as perfect as you can get. I think he's 80% on the season throwing the ball. He doesn't throw very many incompletions. That kid is outstanding. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the state, in my opinion. And then if you're looking for a non-private school, and there's a lot of people in Oklahoma that are tired of the private schools dominating, look at Verdigris. This is a senior-led team. They've been together for a long time. They've won a lot of ball games. They're led by their senior linebacker, Reese Roller, who has, I think he's closing in on 15 to 20 sacks for, I think, the third consecutive season. He's one of the best linebackers in the state. So if you're looking for a non-private school to cheer for in Class 3A, it's the Verdigris Cardinals. But I think 3A is going to come down to the private schools, one of those three that I mentioned, Lincoln, Metro, or Heritage Hall.
Yeah, man, they got it sold up right there. So look forward to seeing what happens in that 3A classification. But before we get out of here, any more news that you have for us on high school football as things are winding down in the regular season?
Well, we wrapped up our prospect rankings on the website with the 2023 class. Not a lot of change at the top. Some of those top guys have been holding on to those top spots for a while now. When you look at the top 10, the only guy who's not committed is Morgan Pearson from Plainview. So I'm interested to see where he ends up. This is a guy that's been recruited for about 4 different positions by Division I schools. So it's not only going to be interesting to see where he winds up, but at what position. I think that he's going to have some wonderful decisions down the road for him. But, I mean, it's all about the playoffs at this point. We have some district championships on the line here in Week 10. Other teams are fighting for playoff spots, but I'm already starting to look ahead at the playoff picture and some of the teams that are possibly going to make runs to Chad Richardson Stadium in Edmond.
Yeah, I got a chance to see Pearson take on Heritage Hall a couple of weekends ago, and man, that Heritage Hall defense did not let him do anything, but he is a good-looking athlete, I got to admit. But, Michael Knight, before we get out of here, where can the people find you and your work over there at Prep Red Zone?
Yeah, you can check us out, prepredzone.com/Oklahoma. Go to prepredzone.com. We're in about 35 to 40 different states across the country. But let's face it, we only care about Oklahoma football here. So you can check us out at prepredzone.com/Oklahoma. You can follow us on Twitter at PrepRedZoneOK. We'll have a ton of playoff content dropping next week as well to get you ready for the postseason.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Appreciate it, Michael Knight.
We'll see you next week, man.
Coming up on Ford High School Weekly, highlights from the Norman North Westmore and Broken Arrow Jinx game. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Highlights from last week's game feature the Norman North Timberwolves visiting Westmore and an overtime classic between Broken Arrow and Jinx.
Your Oklahoma Ford Dealers game of the week, Norman North at Westmore, and the Timberwolves showed why they are one of the top teams on this side of the state.
Yes, they certainly did, and let's go ahead and take a look at some of these highlights as, man, we had a lot of them. Take a look at this, a tunnel screen to number 15, Jackson Lundquist, and he goes all the way into the end zone to make it 14-0 for the Norman North Timberwolves. Then Westmore decides to get inside the action. Terry Simmons takes it all the way into the Jiffy Lube's red zone, and then number 53, Council will take it in for the score and finish that drive off. But the Timberwolves weren't done yet. This big-time touchdown pass to Cabanis, a post route, 20 yards for the touchdown, making their lead even bigger. But again, Terry Simmons would not go away. This time for 65 yards out, goes into the end zone and makes it a 2-score game. Then before halftime, a minute left. Six Killer finds McCown. McCown pursues by the defenders and makes him look silly as he goes into the end zone for the touchdown. After halftime in the third quarter, they get down to the 4-yard line, bootleg by Blyce, and he goes into the end zone. This time, on 4th down, 4th and 2, they go to number 44, Dante Moses, and he goes in for the touchdown, and that's what ends it for us. 52-28, Norman North takes the win from the Westmore Jaguars on senior night.
First drive of the game, Owen Jones to Will Height. That made it 7-0, and then breaking right up the middle, Nate Jones, 54 yards out of the gate. Broken Arrow ran 9 plays. They were up 14-0 after that one-play score. And then Jinx responded right back. They got a one-play touchdown of their own.
Big plays were major in this game.
Ike Owens, Jaden Carroll, they hooked it up right there. And then Jalen Stanford, 57 yards. Get off me, he says. Here I go, taking it to the house. Jinx had tied things up when it looked like BA was going to run away with it. 14-all after one. Second quarter, just one TD. Owen Jones, Cade Matthews fumbled it at the 1, and it rolled right to him into the end zone. BA was up 21-14 at the half. Second half, Jinx drove down the field. Dietrich Moore, what an INT right there. First turnover of the night, and then their next drive, they were moving again. Fumbled it. Starling Condry, 58-yard scoop and score. BA was living large, up 28-14. Then with about 5 minutes to go, Jinx started marching down the field. Ike Owens hit Jaden Carroll. Skips his way into the end zone. That made it 28-21 after the 31-yard touchdown pass. Jinx would get one more shot at it. They score with 2.5 to go in this one, actually 2:42. Ty Walls from Owens, 54 yards, 3 plays, 85 yards. They went down the field in 51 seconds. We go to overtime. In the overtime, Jinx ties it up, and then the blocked PAT. Ashton Cunningham comes off the edge, and Jinx secures the win, 35-34. Tough loss if you're a Broken Arrow fan. They had this game in control most of the night. It looked like it was going to go to a second overtime, and then the blocked PAT did him in. Jinx wins it by a point.
Remember, only the best in Oklahoma, like River Faulkner, make the Ford High School Weekly. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Deion Imade.
Ford High School Weekly has been brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.